On June 10, 2026, 3 weeks ago, General Motors filed a motion asking a federal judge to dismiss the class action lawsuit from 600,000 owners of trucks and SUVs with the 6.2-liter L87 engine. Their argument, the recall already fixed the problem. The same day, NHTSA still had their own investigation open into whether that fix actually worked. 6 reveals, all of them from primary sources: NHTSA filings, court documents, GM's own internal data, and owner reports. If you own a 2021 through 2024 Silverado, Tahoe, Suburban, Sierra, Yukon, or Escalade with the 6.2, this is the most important video you will watch about your truck this year. Let's get into it. Number 1. GM had 28,000 internal failure reports before they issued the recall. GM did not issue the recall because they discovered a problem. They issued the recall because NHTSA forced their hand. Here is the documented timeline. Between April 2021 and February 2025, GM's own internal data recorded more than 28,000 engine failure reports on the L87 6.2 V8. Half of those failures occurred while vehicles were in motion. The defect had 2 components. During manufacturing, tiny metal particles, GM's own engineers called it machining glitter, became trapped inside oil passages in the connecting rods and crankshaft. Those particles contaminated the oil supply to the main bearings and rod bearings from day one. The second defect, crankshafts that did not meet GM's own dimensional specifications for surface finish and tolerances. When those 2 defects combined under operating conditions, the bearing surfaces starved of clean oil, the metal-to-metal contact accelerated, and the engine could seize completely, at highway speed, with no warning, in vehicles with as few as 1,200 miles on the odometer. GM internally investigated these failures and closed their own investigations before NHTSA opened theirs. NHTSA opened a formal defect investigation in January 2025 after receiving just 39 owner complaints. GM filed the official recall in April 2025, 4 years after the first documented failures in their own internal records. 28,000 failure reports, 4 years. That is not a company that did not know. That is a company that calculated when not knowing became more expensive than knowing. The failures happening during that 4-year window were real. 12 crashes, 12 injuries, engines seizing at highway speed in trucks that were fully current on maintenance. Owners who did everything right, serviced their trucks on schedule, used the correct oil, and still had their engine quit on the freeway. GM had the internal data on all of it and did not reach out to a single owner. Number 2. The fix for most owners was an oil change and a new oil cap. 600,000 trucks and SUVs with potentially defective crankshafts and connecting rods contaminated with machining debris that may have been circulating through the engine since the day it left the factory. GM's remedy for most of them was to drain the 0W20 oil and refill with 0W40. A new oil cap, a new oil filter, a printed insert for the owner's manual. That is the official fix for an owner whose truck passed the dealer inspection. Here is what the 0W40 oil does not do. It does not flush the metal debris already trapped in your oil passages. It does not correct the out-of-spec crankshaft dimensions. It does not remove the machining glitter that may have been circulating through your bearings since 2021. The 0W40 oil creates a thicker film between bearing surfaces to compensate for the dimensional defects underneath. The engineering logic is real. Thicker oil buys time. The class action lawsuit argues it buys time at a cost. McNamara v. GM alleges the 0W40 fix increases engine drag and reduces fuel economy compared to the 0W20 the engine was designed for. Every owner whose truck passed inspection is paying that fuel economy penalty on every fill-up for the rest of the truck's life. On a truck that averages 16 miles per gallon, the difference between 0W20 and 0W40 in real-world fuel economy is estimated at roughly 3 to 5%. Over 100,000 additional miles of ownership. That is a real cumulative cost that GM never disclosed and that the class action lawsuit is now seeking to recover. You did not choose to switch to 0W40. GM chose it for you and did not tell you what it would cost. And in February 2026, GM quietly changed the recall oil specification from Mobil 1 Supercar 0W40 to Mobil 1 FS 0W40, a different additive formulation, with no public announcement. The change was documented in an updated service bulletin to dealers. The stated reason was availability and cost, the lawsuit noticed. Number 3. 36 engines failed after the official fix, both versions. This is the number that triggered the federal government to reopen the investigation. 36. That is how many owners filed complaints with NHTSA reporting that their 6.2 engine failed catastrophically after receiving the official dealer recall remedy. On January 16, 2026, NHTSA's Office of Defects Investigation opened recall query RQ26001, a formal investigation into the adequacy of the remedy. Not the original defect, the fix. Here is what makes this number alarming beyond its size. In every single one of those 36 complaints, the engine had the official recall service completed before it failed, and both versions of the remedy failed. Owners who received the 0W40 oil change experienced catastrophic bearing failure within a few thousand miles of the dealer visit. Owners who received a complete engine replacement experienced failures shortly after the replacement was installed. One owner reported an engine that seized after 5,100 miles on the replacement unit, with a fresh oil change. Another, a 2026 Denali Ultimate, a truck bought new the previous year after the recall was already public, had the engine seize at 1,600 miles. The owner accounts filed with NHTSA describe the failure pattern: no warning, no gradual degradation, no check engine light, just sudden loss of propulsion. One owner, driving 65 miles per hour on the freeway, the truck suddenly turned off. Another, engine seized while passing at 70 mph on a 2-lane road. These are not isolated edge cases. These are the 36 cases that made NHTSA ask the question they opened an investigation to answer: was GM's fix ever going to be enough? The agency's formal language is precise and deliberate. They are investigating the loss of motive power due to engine failure post-recall remedy, not the original defect, the fix. NHTSA does not open recall queries casually. Opening RQ26001 means federal regulators looked at what GM said would fix the problem, looked at what happened after, and decided those two things needed to be reconciled in public. Quick pause. Hit like and subscribe right now before the last 3 reveals. GM had 28,000 internal failure reports and waited 4 years to act. The fix for most owners was an oil change that does not remove the debris already in your engine. And 36 owners found out the fix did not work at 65 miles per hour on the freeway. 3 more, including the replacement engines that are also failing, what GM just did in court 3 weeks ago, and the specific steps every 6.2 owner needs to take right now. Let's keep going. Number 4. The replacement engines may be just as defective. Owners whose trucks failed the dealer inspection received a full engine replacement at no cost. That sounds like the best outcome in this situation. Here is what GM did not advertise about those replacements. GM confirmed to GM Authority that the replacement engines are, in their words, a mix of new and remanufactured engines. Remanufactured engines are rebuilt from cores, components that have been used, disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled. The manufacturing defects in the L87 originated at the supplier level during original machining. The question nobody at GM has answered publicly is whether the remanufactured cores used for replacement engines came from the same defective supplier production window. The owner reports suggest the answer is not reassuring. One owner in a forum thread: "My third engine failed in December. 3 engines. 1 truck. All under the recall program." Another owner described a replacement engine failing within months of installation. Forum consensus across GM trucks and GM Authority comment sections. The true problem has not been identified or corrected. The lack of replacement engine supply made this worse. GM could not keep up with demand. Owners reported waiting weeks to months for repairs, while dealers had no loaners available. One owner documented 9 months of fighting with GM to get reimbursed for 9 truck payments made while the vehicle sat at a dealer lot. The truck was under full warranty for a recall-related repair. GM argued over reimbursement for 9 months. That is who is now asking a judge to declare the matter resolved. The supply shortage created a secondary problem beyond the engines. When your truck is at a dealer for a recall repair that GM is responsible for, you are still making monthly payments. GM's position in many cases was that courtesy transportation was available under policy, which in practice meant a rental they would cover only partially and only for the period their service timeline said the job should take, not the period it actually took. Owners with trucks sitting for months documented cases where GM's reimbursement offer covered a fraction of what they paid to keep getting to work while their truck waited for a replacement engine that was on backorder. Number 5. GM filed a motion to dismiss the class action 3 weeks ago. On June 10, 2026, General Motors filed a motion in federal court asking Judge Shalina Kumar in the Eastern District of Michigan to dismiss the consolidated class action lawsuit targeting the L87 6.2 engine. The lawsuit, Powell v. General Motors, represents owners and lessees of 2019 through 2024 vehicles with the L87 engine. It is a 389-page complaint, consolidating 11 separate lawsuits filed by owners across the country. NHTSA documented more than 28,000 failure complaints, 12 crashes, 12 injuries directly linked to L87 engine failures before the recall. GM's argument for dismissal: the recall already addressed the problem. They cite a 3% failure rate as evidence the issue is not widespread enough to sustain a class action. The plaintiffs call the 0W40 fix egregiously inadequate. The class action argues that the oil change does not correct the underlying manufacturing flaw and places an unfair ongoing maintenance burden on every owner whose truck passed inspection. The suit also addresses diminished resale value. Cadillac Escalade owners who paid luxury prices for a truck with a defect GM knew about are arguing they would have paid substantially less, or not bought the vehicle at all, had GM disclosed the defect at the point of sale. And here is the most critical detail in GM's timing. NHTSA's recall query RQ26001, the formal federal investigation into whether the recall remedy was adequate, is still open as of the date GM filed that dismissal motion. GM is asking a judge to declare the matter resolved, while the federal agency investigating that same remedy has not reached the same conclusion. If NHTSA determines the remedy was inadequate and forces a full engine replacement across all 600,000 vehicles, the cost to GM would dwarf any class action settlement. That is what GM is trying to prevent by winning in court first. Number 6. What every 6.2-liter owner needs to do right now. The reimbursement deadline was May 31st, 2026. If you had out-of-pocket expenses related to the L87 defect and missed that window, that specific avenue is closed. Here is what is still available and what every 6.2 owner needs to do immediately. First, check your VIN at NHTSA.gov right now. Confirm whether your specific vehicle is included in Recall 25 V274. If it is, and you have not had the recall service performed, contact a GM dealer immediately and schedule it. The repair is free. Do not wait. Second, if you have already had the recall service, inspect your oil filter at every single oil change going forward. Open the used filter and look at the media. Metal particles caught in the filter media, anything that looks like fine gray silt or metallic flake, means your bearings are already shedding material. That is your warning that the oil change fix is not holding. Third, file a complaint with NHTSA. Go to NHTSA.gov, find the complaint portal, and document any issues you experience after the recall. Those 36 complaints that triggered the second investigation were filed by ordinary owners. Your complaint can directly influence whether NHTSA forces GM into a more comprehensive remedy. The more complaints filed after a failed fix, the harder it is for GM to argue in court that everything is resolved. Fourth, document everything. Every service visit, every repair order, every phone call with GM, dead. Every day your vehicle is out of service. Most state lemon laws trigger after 30 or more cumulative days in the shop for the same defect, or after a reasonable number of failed repair attempts. Your documentation is the foundation of any lemon law claim. Fifth, know about the extended warranty. Every vehicle in the recall range received a 10-year, 150,000-mile extended powertrain warranty as part of the remedy. If your truck passed inspection and received the 0W40 oil, that warranty is your primary protection. Every single issue you experience from this point forward should be documented and submitted under that warranty before you pay $1 for any powertrain repair. Sixth, if you own a 2019 or 2020 truck with the L87, your vehicle is outside the recall range. But NHTSA, opened a separate engineering analysis covering failures in vehicles outside the recall window. File a complaint anyway. The investigation is still open. Pre-recall vehicles are being evaluated. 6 reveals, all from primary sources. GM had 28,000 internal failure reports and waited 4 years. The fix for most owners does not remove the debris already in the engine. 36 owners confirmed the fix failed, at highway speed, with no warning. Replacement engines are a mix of new and remanufactured stock, and some of those have failed too. GM filed a motion to dismiss the class action 3 weeks ago, while NHTSA's investigation is still open, and the reimbursement window closed May 31st. What happens next depends on 2 things: whether NHTSA's RQ26001 investigation concludes the remedy was inadequate, and whether the court dismisses the class action or lets it proceed. If NHTSA forces a full engine replacement across 600,000 vehicles, that changes everything. If the lawsuit is dismissed, individual lemon law claims become the only option for owners who have had repeated failures. Either way, the outcome is still being written. File your complaint with NHTSA. Document your service history. Know your warranty. Hit like and subscribe. Drop your year, your mileage, and whether you have had the recall service done in the comments below. I will see you in the next one.